Thanks for tuning in. We're going to make it a little serious video here. So, unfortunately, there was a terrible shooting that happened. There's a terrible shooting that happened. 14 women lost their lives. We're going to honor the victims today. So, on the 6th of December, 1989, Geneviève Bergeron, Nathalie Croteau, Anne-Marie Edward, Maryse Lagunière, Anne-Marie Lemay, Michel Richard, Anne Turcotte, Hélène Colgan, Barbara Daigneault, Maude Havernick, Maryse Leclerc, Sonia Pelletier, Barbara Klutznick, Vida Juix died. Okay, so this is L'École Polytechnique. So what happened was that there was this anti-feminist. An anti-feminist is a person, right, that believes that he should protect society by killing people preemptively, right, killing these women preemptively, and this is just, absolute folly, right? So I don't want anybody to think that I'm in the same camp as this guy. Am I an anti-feminist? Let's be honest. Let's be mature about the situation. I'm 100% anti-feminist, right? Feminism is a death cult, right? Atheistic feminism based upon Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, that the monkeys were our grandfather and we came from the Big Bang, and and all this stuff. It's a death cult, right? So we have to be mature about the situation. I am 100% an anti-feminist. This shooter was an anti-feminist. Does that mean that can you label us? Can you group us in the same label, right? No, man. No, and that's the point of this video, right? So I really want to make sure that you understand that I am not an extremist. I am not. I am just a person that complains on these videos that don't even have any kind of views as of this current time here. I'm not really making this, these videos for the year 2000. I'm in the year 2025 right now. So this happened like almost 36 years ago, and this is fresh in our minds, right? We got this anti-feminist guy preemptively, saving our society. We're gonna rid the world of these feminists. That's nonsense, right? That's absolute foolishness. Right. So really, really important to remember that I'm an anti-feminist, and this guy's an anti-feminist. But we are so far apart in our views. I would never kill anybody, right? This guy's a lunatic, right? Anybody that kills people. So let's go back to the point of this channel, right, which is Dr. Michel Marie-Dao. Okay, Dr. Michel Marie-Dao is a lunatic psycho killer in excess of 1,000 deaths. She has a body count, if you will, of in excess of 1,000 deaths. What does that mean? That Dr. Michel Dao killed, literally killed. Oh, they're just a clump of cells. It's just a blastocyst that failed to implant. It's just, a fetus, a blastocyst, an embryo, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to dehumanize this, and it's suddenly permissible to kill. No, no, no. Dr. Michel Dao is guilty, exceedingly guilty, of an extraordinarily egregious crime, and that is what? Well, the birth control pills do not actually prevent pregnancy. They actually kill the baby, the newly formed baby. It's just early abortion. That's all it is, man. Don't be fooled. Birth control pills don't prevent ovulation. They don't prevent the conception. The baby boy or baby girl is 100% alive. That fertilized ovum has gone through the process which is called zygotic genome activation, and that means that it's a baby, and the baby is alive, and the baby is growing all by himself or herself. It's a baby boy. Congratulations, you're a mother. Congratulations, you are a father. The 50% is the father's DNA. There's a brand new set of DNA. And Dr. Michel Dao is guilty of killing in excess of 1,000 babies. Souls. Souls, right? 1,000 souls has been sent to heaven, right? If you want to go that way, because in excess of 1,000 lives, right? Dr. Michel Dao is guilty. So let's go back to the argument of this psycho killer here, the psycho killer of the 1989. The guy was Mark Lippin or whatever. I don't really care about this guy. I don't want to put the spotlight on him, but let's go through our analysis of the situation, right? This guy hates feminists because he sees what feminism does, right? Radical feminism is an extreme death cult, and any rational person can clearly see that. So anyway, he's there thinking, well, we're gonna be a hero, we're gonna save the world, and we're gonna kill a whole bunch of feminists. All right, well, that doesn't work. Okay, so these women were innocent, and they each one of these are valuable human beings. the heart, the lungs, the brain. Right? This is a valuable thing, right? This is you cannot kill a person. Killing is the number one most terrible thing. All right, so what are you doing? Right, the only thing you're doing is giving anti-feminism a bad name or whatever. So I'm an anti-feminist. I would never dream of doing anything close to that kind of foolishness. Killing 14 women at the L'École Polytechnique. I mean, are you an idiot? Well, he was. I mean, he's a dirty guy, and he did a lot of damage, man. Anyway, he's dead, and where he belongs, in hell. So this guy here. I just want to make sure that I'm not categorized in the same camp as this guy, because I certainly don't agree with anything that he says, except that, well, feminism is a terrible death cult. So what should we do about it? Well, we should raise awareness and all this stuff. So I mean, I'm not gonna avenge anything. I'm not gonna preemptively avenge the death of that's nonsense, right? So what should we do as a society? Well, I mean, we have some options, but the men in our society are sleepers, and they don't really do very much, but that's beside the point. What is important here to remember is that these women mattered, okay? And each one of these women had a moral compass that they could have said, no, I am not going to I know the difference between the nonsensed idea of the Gynecologists Association that says, no, implantation is the starting of a pregnancy and all this stuff. No, we know better. We know that the zygotic genome activation is the starting of the conception, where the sperm meets the egg. So, come on, you're going to try to... But some people do get confused and all this stuff, and I see where the confusion comes from, but all you gotta do is go to the library and say, when does the baby become a baby? Well, is it really the implantation? And then the textbook would be like, no, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Oh man, get some banana and dragon fruit tea. No. The zygotic genome activation is the starting of the pregnancy. You get the sperm meeting the egg here. The egg will choose literally the best sperm, and it's a magical process if you ever got into embryology. But anyway, these people ignore embryology and they just go into these the pharmaceutical industry's textbooks, which say that the implantation is the starting of a pregnancy, which all of a sudden it's okay to have these birth control pills, because the birth control pills don't cause early abortion, because the starting of a pregnancy is just the implantation. No, the reality is this. The reality is that these birth control pills do allow the ovulation. The oocyte will be released from the ovary, right, from the woman, and then the woman is taking these birth control pills, but she's unaware that the ovulation still occurs, right? The oocyte will be released, and then after the male sperm enters the fallopian tube there, as you remember from embryology, right? The sperm will meet the egg, and then the oocyte, right, will literally choose the best sperm, right? She will choose the best sperm. And the male sperm will enter, and then there's the fertilization, and then there's there's a very, very beautiful process, which is this zygotic genome activation, and there's a new set of DNA, 50% from the mother, 50% from the father. That's life. I mean, from the top of the mountains to the top of the clouds to the deepest part, the deepest part of the ocean to the deepest trench. There's nothing more important than a baby, right? A human baby, right? So let's go back to anti-feminism, right? What should we do about it? Well, this is not the video to discuss that, but we certainly know what not to do. Is go to a school and shoot up a whole bunch of innocent girls, right? These girls could have said, no, I'm smarter than that, because I've been empowered, because women's rights to education. These women, women's rights, right? What is oppressed women? They don't go to they don't get educated, right? So they can't know all this stuff, right? So they get fooled into thinking that the implantation can start a pregnancy, right? So they get fooled. But now the women have the right to the education, the women's rights to have the education that will clearly, make no mistake, right? We know that the zygotic genome activation is the starting of life, right? It's not an implantation. That's an arbitrary stage of development. We all went through the implantation stage, all of us. But before the implantation stage, we were conceived, right? So that's before, So they don't even get their embryology straight. And I don't blame them because they're really interested in selling this idea that you can become you know, a strong, independent woman, and you don't need a man, and you don't need to go through pregnancy, and you can live a life of debauchery and be, have this whole profligate lifestyle and sleep around and all this stuff. That's destructive. That's a destructive idea, man. Not as destructive as giving. Let's say, for example, like Dr. Michelle Downer. She went to med school and she literally prescribed a whole community a whole bunch of birth control pills, and oh man, this is painful. This is painful. In excess of 1,000 souls, man. In excess of 1,000 people that she killed, right? Not to mention the pregnancies that she prevented. So yes, the birth control pills does prevent pregnancy, and nobody's going to deny that. But the problem is that they don't always, right? They don't always prevent the pregnancy, and so. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, would each of these 14 women go and done what Dr. Michelle Dow is? Dr. Michelle Dow is an extreme outlier, right? Dr. Michelle Dow is a psycho lunatic killer, kills in excess of 1,000 people, right? So would each of these women have done that, and is the killer a hero? No. Nobody's going to suggest that, and that's where this idea could have gone, right? I'm just making a video to explain where the idea could have gone, right? But it certainly didn't go that way. We know better. Right? These girls were innocent, had a moral compass. They could have said, hey, listen, this is wrong. We are not going to prescribe abortifacient birth control pills and destroy our own future. They could have been educated properly, and they could have, if you're a student, right, don't trust your teacher. Read the embryology textbook for yourself. Sorry, I get a little cold here. I think I made all the points. So let's recap here. We got 14 wonderful young women that have been brutally murdered on the 6th of December 1989, right? And that's hard. That's a hard pill for the country to swallow. Even today, right? This is 2025 right now. up to 35 years ago, so it's going to be 36 years, and in December, right? Can you imagine? Waking up to that news. I was a baby at the time, so I don't really remember, but I remember that this thing happening, and it's very, very fresh in my mind because of this whole feminist thing, right? So the guy wanted to be hailed as a hero, that he prevented let's be even more mature, right? Could these women have gone to kill as many? Well, if we're going to go that route, we're going to say, well, one of Dr. Dow's victims, she killed, Dr. Dow killed in excess of 1,000 people, like we said. One of 1,000 people. Let's say that one victim was a psycho killer. He killed 1,000,000 people, right? You can't go down that road. Once you decide to be a mass murderer and kill it, and pull the trigger, you're erasing any possibility of any kind of potential future event to happen, right? So I hope I made myself clear. And what I'm saying is that because this psycho killer killed the 14 women, he didn't prevent anything from happening, because it wouldn't have happened, because he's the one that killed the women, and he's the psycho lunatic killer, right? So that's like saying that Dr. Michelle Dow, maybe she could have, because she is clearly guilty. Dr. Michelle Dow is clearly guilty of killing in excess of 1,000 people. So maybe that one person that she, these babies are real, that she killed, could have been a psycho killer. He could have killed 1,000 people. So once, like I said, once that Mark Lipin guy pulled the trigger and killed a whole bunch of women, that's it. I mean, that was really a terrible thing, man. Oh man, I hope I made my point straight. But I'm certainly not. I'm an anti-feminist, 100%. But I'm certainly not in that same camp. And I think I made my point very, very clear. And I don't think anybody's gonna believe that I'm in that same camp as that.